Muy buenos dias. What is happening? What is going on to Phillies Nation? Appreciate everyone coming on in here for today's Phillies game recap. As yes, we are about 24 hours late from yesterday's game. Busy day. And of course, it was a doubleheader with the Union on as well. But kind of wanted to talk about yesterday's game, but more so also lean more towards previewing this all important series against the New York Mets yet again. This upcoming weekend as they come back here to Philadelphia to play against us. So I figured it was a good time on a day off. Everyone's, looking for some Phillies talk. Everyone's still upset over yesterday's game. And obviously, a little, I would say, happen and go down this upcoming weekend. As of course, it's a big one. It's a big one, and kind of end the series against the Reds on a bad note. It was an ugly one, but for myself, it's just one game. I can't always expect to sweep every single team, and I think the focus now has to be on the New York Mets. And it's weird because at first I think about it and I think like this is going to be a tough series, but then when you look at it as a grand picture, it might not be as bad as we kind of anticipate because the Mets are also kind of reeling as well, and this could be a very interesting four-game set here at Citizens Bank Park for this upcoming weekend. But real quick before we dive into today's Phillies game recap, if you guys haven't already, hit that like button. It truly mean the world to me. And subscribe for more Philly sports. We should be back live here again. Tonight will be Duke by the River. It's Duke by the River Thursday. We had the two doubleheader obviously this week, so we'll be back at it tonight. And of course, we will be live for the Phillies versus Mets game one. We'll be back. We'll be back on everything. We'll be back on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and of course TikTok as well. But before we start off, let's talk about this Reds game that happened yesterday. A 1-0 loss for the Phillies in Cincinnati in this series finale. And it's weird because going into that game, obviously the Phillies destroyed them with an 11-4 ball game and absolutely look fantastic. You got the run support that you absolutely needed for Kyle Gibson. 11 runs, was like 9 hits that they had on the day. Big days by Reese Hoskins. And it was fun. It looked like, okay, well, here we go. Here goes the ball moving, or let's get this train moving, rolling for the Philadelphia Phillies. Offense seems like they are back. And then of course this happens on Wednesday afternoon, and the Phillies just did not show up. For the Reds, you had on the mound Olodolo, this lefty, young lefty. He was looking like Randy Johnson. I'm obviously exaggerating a little bit, but he had success against the Phillies lineup, and the Phillies did struggle. The Phillies truly and honestly struggled, just hitting in general. I don't know what it was. Obviously, we can look at the lineup, and obviously Dombrowski. I keep confusing Thompson and Dombrowski, but obviously for Thompson, he wanted to change up the lineup here with injuries and heading into the Mets series. You had some sort of an update for, I'm sorry, of a change for Thompson in the starting lineup. You had Gene Segura batting leadoff. You did have Edmundo Sosa in the lineup as well. Derek Hall dropped back down to the latter part of the lineup, and of course Nick Maton back in left field with the injury to Brandon Marsh. That means you have an outfield of Castellanos, Vierling, and of course Nick Maton. So this was a scoreless game through 8.5 innings. You had zeros all throughout the field. Of course, the difference here today was in that bottom of the ninth inning where Seranthony Dominguez, he may not be as perfect as some of us may thought him to be. And he's shown this side of him over past couple starts throughout the season. He's obviously a really polished I should say, yeah, he's a really polished closer. He's the best relief pitcher that we have, and that's why we want him as our closer. But he's young, right? And he's obviously coming off of Tommy John surgery. Not every outing is going to look like Mariano Rivera, right? And he struggled here today. Kudos to him. He started off with a strikeout. Then he walks Albert Almora. He strikes out Acuna, who's, by the way, what a freaking arm that Acuna has on him. Holy Christ. Dude's got a rocket. But then you have an Alejo Lopez single. And then Barrio was able to get a single as well into left center or center field. And that would bring Albert Almora. It was a great base running by Almora, and got in, and that was really a difference as the Reds were able to steal one game out of this three-game set. And it's definitely unfortunate. I think what's more unfortunate for myself is just the fact that you just showed up that flat. Obviously, that kind of does blow a little bit, especially Ranger Suarez got the start here today for the Phils, and he also had a good outing as well. So when you look at Tuesday night, where the bats were on fire, they looked really good. They put up 11 runs. You turn back around in the next couple hours, and you look that freaking flat. Were the Phillies looking at the Mets series this weekend? I do not know, but obviously that's something you have to consider as well. But it was just absolutely terrible. Was Thompson's lineup decision in this game bad? No, I wouldn't say so either. You did mix up things a little bit here, but I just think overall it was a team aspect where the batches as a whole and total were just flat out freaking cold. You got a Nick Castellanos hit, right? Kudos to Nick Castellanos. He was able to get a hit in here. You had Kyle Schwarber come in the ninth inning in a pinch hit situation, so you got his first at bat. And he had a pop up that the catcher for the Reds, which I believe Romine was able to get that pop up out, and just it was just a rough one. And Gene Segura, listen, he's someone who has experience as a leadoff guy, so I can't really fault him too much there. But they just flat out, the Phillies bats just flat out in general just made Lodolo look like a freaking ace. It was just that type of game. For Ranger Suarez, another great outing, and this is what you want to continue seeing from Ranger Suarez. He's been putting together some solid quality outings after quality outings, and this is exactly what you want to see from Don Ranger Suarez. And just, for when it comes to Anthony Dominguez, I can't kill him too much for this one. He's looked really good overall in the season, coming back from the Tommy John surgery, and I can't really fault him too much. It's gonna get better for Sir Anthony Dominguez, and I truly believe that with a couple more before the playoff time, he should be completely straight here. So it is definitely unfortunate the way this kind of game went. And then you look at the final 5 innings in this game. You had 3 batters in each of the final 5 innings of this ball game. The best inning was what? The first, where you had an Alec Boehm double, or in the third. I'm sorry, what was it? The fourth. The fourth inning, you had 5 batters, come up to plate or come up to bat. But other than that, it was just a cold outing here for the Phillies. So again, I don't know what to hear this. You got to sweep this under the rug, and I know people are freaking out about that loss because it is the Reds, and there's for a lot of Phillies fans' minds, there's no excuse to losing to the Cincinnati Reds and getting blanked by the Cincinnati Reds. And I understand that there's these expectations that even though you are without Schwarber, you are without Bryce Harper, the likes of Hoskins, Segura, and Castellanos would be enough, and Realmuto as well, would be enough to get you over the hump. But this is baseball. This is the majors. These type of things do happen. I mean, I've seen the Dodgers lose a series to the Washington Nationals, and the fact of the matter is, you got a series win. You're obviously reeling, right? And obviously you got to implement some rotation. Like, people freaking out about Bryson Stott not starting either. Like, I don't think that Bryson Stott not being in the lineup is the difference of why the Phillies lost 1-0. I'm sorry, but I just cannot look at it like that. And again, these things just typically do happen in sports, and obviously in baseball when you play so many damn freaking games. But again, you got to sweep this under the rug. You got to move forward. It is a series win, so you got to hold your hat up high. But look, it is a big deal this upcoming weekend. The Mets have your number, right? You haven't won a series against the New York Mets. And for myself, still with this lineup still being banged up, Kyle Schwarber is probably going to be able to start. Where does Thompson put him in the lineup? I do not know. Does he go back into the leadoff spot? Does he get pushed back into the middle of the rotation? Those are questions that Thompson's going to have to think about. But this offense needs to get it together. They have been inconsistent over the last week and a half, and that has to change. Like, despite what happened on Wednesday afternoon, this baseball team has not been consistent. Even you look at the Tuesday night game, that's freaking great, right? You put up 11 runs, but you put up 4 the night before on a night where you should have more runs. We obviously saw what happened in that Mets series, the Saturday and Sunday losses. And so they need to get back into that form. Like, I know they're not like every game, and we should expect them to be hitting 5 home runs every single ball game, but being able to get on base, being able to advance runners, they obviously do a really good job of stealing bases. And so they need to get back to what we're finding ways to score runs, whatever it may be, whether it be the long ball or whether it be playing a little small ball as well. You got to find different ways to do it. So we move on from this. We sweep this under the rug, and we move on to a 4-game set this upcoming weekend against the New York Mets. Friday night, you got obviously the Mets in on Saturday. You got a doubleheader, and this will cap off on Sunday. And look, again, I don't need to continue reiterating this, but you got to find a way, at least from myself, A series split against the Mets, I will take. Because I can't fully expect that this baseball team is going to win a series against the Mets considering what they have done in the past against those New York Mets. But here's the good news. So the Phillies will not have to deal with the heart of the the Mets lineup or the rotation. They're going to be missing four of their best starters in that rotation. There is no Carlos Carrasco, there's no Taijuan Walker, Jacob DeGrom, and Max Scherzer have been pitching in this Braves series. So you will not be facing off against those guys. So you're looking at a potential on Friday night. You're going up against Chris Bassett, right? And then following that, you got a doubleheader on Saturday where you're going to go up against Trevor Williams during the day game. And then during the night game, you're looking at a potential of David Peterson, who looked good early on in the year, but he's obviously been dealing with some injuries. So that is what you're looking at Saturday. And then on Sunday, you're potentially looking at a bullpen game for the New York Mets. Now, I get it. The New York Mets bullpen is pretty damn good. I won't deny that one. But you cannot sit here and tell me you feel much better hearing of a potential weekend series of Chris Bassett, Trevor Williams, David Peterson, and a potential bullpen game. Like, that is the best case scenario here for the Phillies, who obviously are struggling, right? They're obviously struggling with their with the bats. The offense has been cold, and so we'll see what that looks what the Phillies will be putting out there. So it looks like for Friday, you got Aaron Nola coming on the mound for the Phillies. Saturday, it's still to be up in the air. I did hear that Bailey Falter and a bullpen game will happen in one of those doubleheader games, and I thought I saw Syndergaard would start in the other one, but I did hear that they might want to maybe pull him back for the Mets series, maybe push him over into next week, or to the next Red series, but we shall see. I want to see Syndergaard out there. I don't care about the factor of him being a former Met. We're coming off of a Noah Syndergaard game where he had his best outing. Every single one of these outings for Noah Syndergaard has been much better and much better. He's been improving. And my philosophy with sports and within life, you have to be thrown under the fire. And I think that this is the perfect opportunity to do it. And listen, it's against your former ball club. They got rid of it. Now, granted, the circumstances, he got hurt. You can't really control all of that. But you have to think that the competitor in Noah Syndergaard has to want to go out there and show the Mets that he is Thor, or he is a reincarnated version that is still good enough. I'll say this, a little bit of a recommendation for Noah Syndergaard: let the hair down. Let the hair down, my dude. You were a much better pitcher when you had the blonde locks hanging down under the hat. So that's just my recommendation, but we'll see what happens. But obviously we have the pitching edge in this upcoming weekend series, which I feel really good about. And this is the opportunity here for the Phillies. You're catching yourself a break. You're going to be at home. Now, look, I do know that typically Phillies versus Mets, especially with the Mets being good, there's going to be a more of a 60-40, maybe a 45-55 split of Phillies to Mets fans. But it is still going to be an electric atmosphere. I expect it to be pretty damn packed at CBP. The Phillies need to find a way to get this going quick. The offensive inconsistency has to be left in the past. Go out there and punish this pitching staff of the New York Mets. Do what you got to do. Let's find a way. Obviously, I am a little bit concerned about the bats because of what they've been doing. And obviously, Kyle Schwarber coming back, he's going to be a little bit slow getting into it. I do feel like, I'm thinking in the series, I would push Kyle Schwarber back in the lineup. I'd maybe put him back in the third slot. I just feel like that, to me, it would be much better suited. He's going to have to get back into the groove of things. I mean, we all remember how the beginning of the year started for Kyle Schwarber. Man hits his first at-bat, literally the first at-bat for the Phillies in the season, hits a home run, and then he goes cold. And it took him up until June to snap out of that. I'm not saying we're going to have a 3-month hiatus because it's going to be the end of the season by that point, but I could see like a couple game, maybe a week-long drought where he's kind of trying to get back into the groove of things. So we'll see what comes about it. But look, the Mets are coming off of a series which I believe they actually are playing tonight or today against the Atlanta Braves as they close it out. They got a win yesterday against the Braves, a 9-7 win. The Braves really were coming back, but they found a way to get that win Jacob deGrom's going up on the mound tonight for the Mets against the Braves in Game 4. Mets are going to look to split the series. They're going to go against Max Fried, which we all know. We've seen him here in Philly and in Atlanta. He's a beast, man. That left arm is definitely tough here, and we'll see how the Mets kind of answer. They definitely want to try to get a split series, and for the Braves, obviously trying to catch some ground. They're only 4.5 back of the New York Mets in that NL East race, so they still have a chance, and there's still plenty of baseball left to be played. So tonight's matchup is really crucial. So I'm curious to see how the Mets respond coming back to Philadelphia, where obviously playing a tough 4-game set and coming off of an emotional one as well. And tonight being the series finale, I could see this one going all the way down to the wire, just like just like yesterday was. The Braves got the best of them. I think they blanked the Mets the first 2 games of this 4-game set, but it's gonna be big, and that's why. Listen, the Mets, all the pressure's on them, and obviously they have kind of faltered in the pressure in the past, but they started off a series against us, going down to Atlanta, then they're coming back up here to Philly to play against us, and then they go back home for a 2-game set against the New York Yankees. So it's a tough one. It's really going to test the New York Mets, but I do think that after that, their schedule kind of eases up and it gets a little bit easier for them. So it's important to take advantage of the series, man. It's right here, man. If you have any thoughts, any aspirations of winning this division, which I personally have kind of just written that off. I'm just trying to get the highest seed possible in these playoffs. If you really want to make some type of noise with that, you take advantage of this opportunity this upcoming weekend, and you take 3 or 4. You take 3 or 4. But for me, splitting the series is more than good enough for what I need going forward. So it should be a lot of fun. We'll be obviously talking about it. We'll be recapping it as well. But for the Phillies, man, it's a little bit of put up or shut up type of situation here for the Phillies, as they need to find that consistency, and they need to find a way to stop losing series to the damn New York Mets. It's going to be a fun one. But obviously we saw the news that Bryce Harper is expected to be back by September 1st. That is the report, and it's still staying like that. So that is definitely pretty great to hear. Joe Girardi found a new job, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know what's all about Joe Girardi, but he looks like he's going to come back to TV. I think he's doing some work with the Chicago area. He's going to call some baseball games for the Cubbies. So listen, I don't have any hard feelings for Joe Girardi. It didn't work. I think he admits it. He kind of probably handled the situation here in Philly the wrong way, but you just wish nothing but the best to Joe Girardi. Of course, Chase Utley as well in the news. He's going to be some sort of an ambassador for baseball in England. That's pretty cool. Obviously, it's a game that's growing, and baseball needs to continue its growth around the world. England seems to be grasping the NFL, so why not do the same thing for baseball? So that should be a lot of freaking fun. And then just one more news that kind of just happened. The Phillies have claimed Bradley Zimmer off of the waivers from Toronto. He's an outfielder. And with Brandon Marsh being put on the 10-day IL, it looks like it's a bone bruise in the knee, but it's also got an ankle involved for Brandon Marsh. So he's going to be on the 10-day IL. We'll see how much longer he'll miss. But obviously, for myself, I was just concerned because it was a non-contact injury, and you always get concerned about those type of injuries. But Bradley Zimmer will be here for right now. And it looks like Johan Camargo and Yairo Munoz were shining in the Iron Pigs route of the Bisons yesterday. So a lot of fun, lots to get to. We'll see what happens this coming weekend. We have a 7:05 first pitch on Friday. Chris Bassett versus Aaron Nola. Nola day on Friday. Nola usually does well against the New York Mets. So hopefully he continues that as well. Guys, thank you so much for watching. That's going to do it for today's Phillies game recap. Again, the Phillies lose 1-0 to the Reds on Wednesday afternoon. We're back at it tomorrow on a Friday night. Mets versus Phillies, South Philly. What else can you guys possibly ask for? Make sure you guys hit the like button, subscribe for more. We'll be back at it again tomorrow for Union Talk. We got so much we got a lot to catch up on. But guys, thank you so much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day. And as always, let's go Phils.